In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to calculate the volume of a composite figure. So you can see here in the shape, I have a cylinder and then I have a hemisphere on top of it. Now in my other video, I showed you how we got the formula for a hemisphere, and basically when we are talking about volume, not total surface area, when we're talking about volume, we can take a sphere, chop it in half, and literally do the same thing with its formula. Take the formula for the volume of a sphere and halve it, and you will get the volume of a hemisphere. So the way that we're going to calculate the volume of this is we need to say the volume equals the volume of the cylinder plus the volume of the hemisphere. Okay, so volume of the sphere, this part there, and then the volume of the hemisphere, which is the half semicircle looking sphere on the top. So we know that the volume of a cylinder is pi r squared h. And the volume of a hemisphere, I think I just said hemisphere. If I did, I was meant to say the volume of this cylinder is pi r squared h plus the volume of the hemisphere, which we learnt before was 2/3. So 2/3 is the front part, and then it's pi r cubed. All right. On a side note, if you didn't understand me getting this formula from halving the volume of a sphere, I want you to just look up here in the top left-hand corner, because I did it in the way where I divided by 2. Like this. Because I know that I can put 4/3 divided by 2 in my calculator, and I feel confident doing so. But if this just looks so daunting to you and you think, how are you meant to divide a fraction by a whole number? How do I put that in my calculator? There's an easier way to think of this. And what you could literally do is dividing by 2 is the same as halving, and half as a fraction is 1/2. Correct? So doing this is the same as doing this. Which is much easier to visualize. And then you can go ahead and do half times 4/3. Okay, so you see that we get actually the exact same thing. That's probably easier for you to see how we get it, but like I said again, if you're confident with using your calculator and you understand this division, then that's perfectly fine as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and label everything. Our 6 centimeters here is the height of our cylinder, so we'll label that as height. And you can see that the cylinder, well, the base of the hemisphere and also the 2 circles that make the cylinder, they have a radius of 2.5. So they're the exact same. The circle down here that is on the floor of the cylinder, that is a radius of 2.5, but it's the exact same one as this one over here, where this circle is shared between the cylinder and the hemisphere. Okay, so that is called our radius. So now we can go ahead and substitute. V equals, well, for the cylinder, it's, I'm going to put big brackets so I can separate the two, pi times, and then the radius is 2.5, squared times h, which is 6. Remember, no gaps equals imaginary time sign. Plus 2/3 imaginary time sign pi, imaginary time sign radius cubed, so 2.5 cubed. And we're putting that in our calculator. Now, I'll show you how to do the first part. Pi times 2.5 squared times 6. I'll bring that into the light a bit. That's better. Can you see how we get a decimal number? I don't want you to work out this part of the equation and look at this answer and go, I'm going to round it to 2 decimal places right now. So I'm going to write here that it's 117.81. No, you're not rounding this to 2 decimal places within the question, and you are not rounding this side to 2 decimal places within the question as well. You need to leave the answer as it is in your calculator. You only round at the very end, your final answer. So if you are going to calculate both sides separately, you are to write the whole number. Plus 2/3 times pi times 2.5 cubed. Now, because that's already in your calculator, you can leave it and just add this part. So plus and you get your overall answer to 2 decimal places of 150.53 centimetres cubed. Now, that is how much space the inside of this composite figure takes up. I'll show you that you can get the same answer if you decide to put this whole entire working in one line on your calculator. Just, you need to make sure you separate both sides by putting in brackets. So bracket pi times 2.5 squared times 6, close bracket, plus open bracket, 2/3 times pi times 2.5 cubed, close bracket. 150.53, 150.53.